Dude, do you want to see something on the big screen?
Yeah, that'd be great. Like what? What's out right now?
Let me check what's in theaters. Sheesh. Oh, wait. The casting for Avengers just dropped, but I think we're waiting for that movie.
You want to watch the first one to kind of catch yourselves up again?
Yeah, Iron Man Cap Thor. It's a classic.
No. The first Avengers.
Welcome back to the Void Hour. I'm the Doom Prophet, here with...
Big Sip.
Nice. This is what...
I remembered this time.
Coming at you with a blast from the past. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
So what is this? Tell me about this.
So, in honor of the cast release of the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking mess that is.
There's so many names.
There's so many names. And none of them have the star power.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think even Robert Downey Jr. has the star power of the original one, because he's not the original character.
Yeah, he's going to be a different character.
The thing is, they
were completely lost without RDJ.
So they're bringing him back.
But
also, I don't know, dude. It's a mess.
The thing I'm worried about is, man, we're getting off topic already, but the cast is so cluttered. There's like 100 names on there, and it feels like they're going to do... They want to build up to their endgame thing already, but they haven't built it up enough. Like, I don't think the Thunderbolts movie is gonna prepare me for the visual onslaught that this cast is insinuating. Because the cast is enormous.
Half the cast is the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, a large portion. And the Fantastic Four.
So
the two movies that come out this year, hopefully that's going to prepare us for this mess of a cast with 40 names.
Sloppy as hell.
It's sloppy.
It's sloppy as hell. Because it's like...
Can RDJ as Victor Von Doom... Is he even Victor Von Doom, or is he just some form?
He's Doom.
Okay.
But that's the thing I don't understand. I don't know. Is he Doom from the universe that Pedro's coming from, or is he Doom from some other universe? What, to me, it's like, what's the beef if you're not even the same Doom? Is he like Lex Luthor in Infinite, was it?
I don't know, man.
I can't remember, but it's like, I would kill Superman in every universe. And it doesn't matter what how innocent he is or whatever.
I'm worried about it, but you know what? We're going to go back to simpler times. Back when it wasn't Avengers. Back when it was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Exactly. Back to a formula that worked.
A formula that worked.
Yeah. Because
or we have that opinion.
We have that opinion, yes.
Yeah. So this movie, I think, was relatively well received by audience, was it not?
It was. But
the critics hated it.
The critics didn't like it. However, it was received well, and it did make its money.
It made money back. Okay, so nice.
That's the other part.
It wasn't a box office bomb.
The main problems with this movie were production wise.
Yeah.
Director and Sean Connery had a beef. He wasted studio funds for scenes that they didn't agree were going to be in the movie. So they're like, why are you shooting these scenes and wasting film?
So there's a bit of production hell going on with this movie, huh?
But however, it did come out extremely well for the most part, except for the two scenes of really bad CGI.
All right, we'll talk about
that.
I love this movie. I think you love this movie.
I do love this movie. And rewatching it again is always a nice treat.
Yeah, I've rewatched this a lot. I've seen it a lot. I still like it every time. Even this time, going back. Yeah. Having now seen all of the Marvel movies.
And modern interpretations.
Yeah.
Because this one is before all of them from, let me see, the director.
2003, right?
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
If I'm the director's name, Stephen Norrington.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen Norrington was the one who did Blade, I believe.
Yeah, so you could say this guy's almost
he's one of the people who originated the modern superhero films.
Yeah.
And
when were the Raimi Spider-Mans? So 2001, 2003?
I would say it's just after 2000, I believe. Yeah.
So this is part of the resurgence.
2001, because they had to redo one of the trailers for reasons. For reasons.
Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, this is. I would say this is one of the forefront of the comic book resurgence or renaissance.
Yeah. So this is like, to me, it's the original. Like when I wasn't even joking when I actually say that. This is like the original idea for the Avengers.
Yeah.
And they almost take a lot of this because they have the same kind of dynamic. And I think ensemble cast, I think he knew that too going into it.
Yeah.
Which is why he changed so much going from the comic book,
they are drastically different.
they're drastically different characters. They're far more sympathetic than the book.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So first, let's just jump into the movie. Let's do a plot synopsis.
The movie starts out with a bank heist, actually.
But it's not your usual bank heist.
No, it's definitely a foreshadowing of things to come, because it's 1899.
Yeah, I think that's what they say.
Before the turn of the century.
Yeah.
This all happens in months in 1999. The first tank ever invented appears on the streets of London.
Yeah, it's London. So you got like these good old fashioned like bobbies running around with their nightsticks or whatever.
Yeah. How do we stop this thing?
Yeah,
and they're like banging on the side.
A tank just rolls out. So I don't know if you guys know your history, but tanks didn't come around until World War II, really, right?
Yes.
Before that, it was like cavalry was the...
It was cavalry. You had a little interaction of some planes.
Yeah.
The first interpretations of planes were they mostly spies and taking pictures and seeing lines and getting a better picture. The full realization of mechanized warfare wasn't really until World War II.
Yeah, so the movie starts out with this threat of this new weapon. Even though tanks are old to us, at this time, the tank is the most futuristic thing they've ever seen.
Like 40, 50 years ahead of where it should be in our history.
Yeah, it's almost like their version of retrofuturism.
Yeah.
Or maybe not retrofuturism, but they have these weird...
Steampunky.
Yeah, it's steampunky. They have these weird elements that are like sort of anachronistic. They're out of place.
Yeah.
But so you have this big future tank, and they're just like, oh no!
Yeah, and they break into the bank, and they steal not the money, but the plans for Venice.
The plans for Venice, which would, of course, be at London, right?
Yeah, for some
reason.
In
the Bank of London.
Yeah, for some reason. Not actually in Venice, in like the Catholic Church or the Vatican.
I forget,
or something.
did they specifically mention it's like Da Vinci's plans for Venice? I'm like, did Da Vinci make Venice single-handedly? Is that
I don't think that's how it goes, but they wanted to mention his name.
Yeah.
Because this movie drops a lot.
They'll love throwing in names. They'll throw in any name they can fit.
Because if you don't know, too, the main point of this movie is to take literature characters and put them together.
It's mashing things from basically all over the Western canon.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into it more as they get introduced, but it's just like, imagine all the books you had to read in high school like 30 years ago, and they're just picking.
And then you chose the coolest ones, and you put them together, and you made an Avengers team.
Yeah, they're like, what if they were like superheroes?
And they fought the pre-Nazis.
Yeah, they do.
They do, because they have a vaguely Nazi-ish role about them. They speak German in a few scenes.
I forget, in the first scene, does it show the villain or does it not?
Yes,
I can't remember.
They show the Phantom.
The Phantom.
Which is the main antagonist of the film.
Yeah.
And he is, cooing over the plans. He's like, finally have the plans.
You know what's funny? It's the exact same scene as Captain America, the First Avenger.
Exactly.
When Red Skull comes in.
That's what I'm saying. It's a very much a...
exact same scene, actually, because I think he has a tank in that one, too.
He has a tank in that one, too. And he's like, I found the Tesseract.
I have got the MacGuffin.
Yeah, I got the MacGuffin. And even though, it's funny enough, we'll find out later, but that wasn't really... I don't even know if you really needed that, to be honest.
No.
But... so we move on from there and we go down to Africa.
Yeah.
And we go down to see Alan Quatermain.
Yeah, so this is the introduction of the Sean Connery character.
Yes.
Fun fact, this is Sean Connery's last movie on film.
Yes. Yes.
He did appear
as a voice.
I think it was almost 13 years later as the voice of Sir Billy in the movie Sir Billy, an animated film.
That no one's seen.
Regrettable. But as far as I'm concerned, this is Sean Connery's last role. And I think we're going to talk about how that feels and like the sort of like implications it has.
Because it's a bit ironic because Alan Quatermain comes from a series of books.
Yeah, talk to me about that because I don't know that much about them.
It comes from a series of books where it's what is it called?
Did you say it was like The Mines of Solomon?
The Mines of Solomon. And then he has the second book is just his name, I believe.
Alan Quatermain.
Adventures Alan Quatermain.
Yeah.
He is a precursor to a lot of characters that were written in, the 1900s. Mostly people identify him as a precursor to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because he's that kind of adventurer. He's the the archetype of the big white hunter, which is an archetype from the pre-era. He's very Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, very Teddy Roosevelt.
So like
it's back when they were doing colonialism, and they were not sorry about it.
They were not sorry about it. If Teddy Roosevelt was British, and
who he reminds me of, and perhaps who he's characterized, is the hunter from Jumanji.
Yes,
who's just that guy. However, the British hunter, right?
Alan Quartermain is extremely sympathetic to indigenous tribes and so forth. He is very in tune with them.
He's like the nature conservationist kind of person.
But he's also very in tune with the locals, and he doesn't want to disturb them. He's very into their own customs.
Yeah, so he's a very
Indiana Jones. So
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's world renowned. Everyone knows his adventures.
Yeah.
And he's worked for the British government a few times before, as implicated.
Right.
As a what would you say? A guy comes from the Queen, says, "I need you again for a mission."
Some guy makes a trek down to Africa, and he's like, "Hey,
I forget his name.
Your Queen needs you." And it's like Nigel or something British.
Very British. Well, he comes back later. I'll tell you that a little bit later, so remember that. But he tells him, people are coming, and the Queen needs you, Queen and country, and Alan Quartermain, of course, is very old at this point, and he's very disillusioned with the Queen.
Yeah, he didn't seem to like the British government anymore.
No, and that's why he lives all the way in Africa, to not be bothered with those kind of things anymore.
Yeah.
Even having a double to tell people his stories and regale them.
Yeah, he's got a guy whose full-time job apparently is just to pretend to be him.
Just to drink and tell the stories because he's so sick of it.
I love that old gentleman's club or whatever they're in.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate country club.
Yeah, so first of all, this sort of like sets the stage for the movie. Most of these things are shot like on a location or some nice set.
Yes.
There's not a lot of CG, as would become the custom eventually.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where it's like all the backgrounds in movies are just CG, but it's like
there are a few shots later, but they could be matte paintings.
Yeah, they could be matte paintings, which I love. They don't bother me at all. I think they look cool. But this movie, it's like whatever the lodge they're in, it's a real place.
Yeah,
it looks incredibly nice. All that dark wood.
Yeah, it has all the
furnishing.
Horns and trunks and tusks and animal heads on the walls, like any classic hunter would have.
Yeah, so something that I really enjoy going back to movies like this is even just regular shots that they're just in a place, and you're like, wow, that place exists. They actually bothered to go there.
It feels lived in.
Yeah.
It feels real. That's the thing you don't.
And it's
usually
like this
get.
thing could be a set. I don't even know, but at least they bothered to make a set.
Yeah, because that's the thing you don't usually get from CG backgrounds and stuff. It doesn't feel lived in.
No, it doesn't feel
real.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm realizing that I barely go to the movie theater anymore because I hate this garbage.
Because he ends up interacting with the set because the war comes to Africa immediately,
right?
As a couple Goonies come in, Randys.
So he blows them off. He's like, I don't want to join.
Yeah, and of course a couple people come in and they find his double again, and they're like, Alan, and he's like, yes, that's me, and they just blow him away.
Yeah, so they have a violent encounter. These German-speaking fellas just come in and wreck the place.
They have their own body armor,
and they put a bomb.
Oh yes, they have a suitcase bomb.
Yeah, which leads us to our first fight scene with Sean Connery doing action scenes. How'd you feel about it?
Surprisingly okay.
Surprisingly okay.
I don't know why, but they actually they actually have, I forget how old he is in this movie in real life.
He's got to be 70.
He's still 70, but he looks good for 70.
He looks great. He can still carry himself.
He can still move.
One thing I did find,
difference. He can still looks like he can throw a punch, whether it's effective or not.
It's a little more believable. I did find myself noticing more on this rewatch, like when they switch to like the actor.
Oh, he jumps
the body double.
Thing. Yeah, body double.
They switch to body doubles. They make it as graceful as possible.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we know this. We see it immediately because we're into movies, and we know that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but if you're watching it seamlessly,
right,
it looks very good, and they play it off very well.
And I would agree that Sean Connery, he still knows how to carry himself. He looks like he might be a tough old man.
Because he's in a lot of the shots where he is doing some kind of actions. Yeah. He's punching the guy in the face. He's putting the drink cart over the guy's head.
Yeah.
He's incapacitating them.
This scene there's a lot of him just hitting people with like random stuff, which is kind of funny. It reminds me a little bit of old kung fu films. You know how Jackie Chan would always just pick any random garbage.
It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
He's like, this is my weapon now.
And he fumbles a bit. He tries to hit one of the guys with the rifle after he fires it, like the butt of the rifle, and he misses. And it's like, okay, he's gonna miss something.
So it's a pretty good fight scene, and it even has him impaling a guy. He lifts him up.
He lifts him up. Okay, that one's a little less believable. He lifts a full like 150-pound man or 180 pound man because he has armor.
Body armor,
He has body armor. And onto a rhino horn that's mounted on the wall.
Yeah, the rhino just
and then the British flag like flops over him. He's like, ah.
I was just imagining like the British anthem.
Yeah. For the Queen.
Yeah, so pretty good intro action scene to kind of start things off.
And of course, his country club gets blown up.
Yeah.
Hence, thrusting him into this conflict.
The scene does establish something though, because one of the guys gets away and he runs away.
His signature move.
Yeah. Signature move, running away.
No, not him. No, Quartermain's signature move.
Oh, yeah, Quartermain's signature move. So he gets his gun out and he's just taking his time. The guy's like running off far in the horizon.
I guess he's too far.
And yeah, the British guy's just like, oh, he's too far. And he's just like, no. I forget what he says.
He's like, I hate getting old.
Oh,
and he puts
his glasses on.
And he, without a scope or anything, is able to snipe this like man 300 from yards like or whatever. 300 yards, 400 yards.
Yeah, so we established that Quartermain's a crack shot.
He's the best shot in the world, yeah.
Yeah, so then as they're outside shooting this dude, the building explodes. Yeah. Tragic.
Yes, and he takes a cyanide, the gentleman takes a cyanide pill so he can't get any information from him.
Yeah.
And he decides
to go... cyanide invented back then?
Huh?
So, was cyanide invented back then, or is that also a...
I mean, I think they say poison. They don't say cyanide. Yeah. We know it is cyanide.
We know it's a cyanide tooth.
Yeah. He's just bloody poison. But he then agrees to go back to London and be a part of this. What does he even say? He drops the League of a Certain Gentleman immediately. Or is that later?
M gives it to him. He doesn't say it.
Yeah. So
I think M says it.
He goes back to London.
Yeah, they have a cool scene again where they're walking through real places. They go through all these corridors down into a basement,
a real like British library.
Yeah, this really cool room, and there's one guy in it, and he introduces himself as M. Who could M be? Oh. So at first I thought from James Bond.
Yeah, I was gonna say me too. Originally I thought it was a James Bond reference.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're doing a James Bond thing. This is like the M, and the James Bond and M is just like they hand down that title. You know, it's just like
it's 007, right? 007
you inherit the
boss.
You inherit the title.
And
so yeah, this guy explains what's the plot of this movie? I don't even know.
Well, the plot of this movie is that the Phantom is trying to incite the First World War for profit. He's a profiteer, and he's invented the tank. He's invented the first missile.
Yeah.
Like he I think there's a scene in between where he shows off the first missile. It's like cable driven. It's very interesting. It's very steampunky. And so he shows off the missile. He shows off, I think he destroys other people's Zeppelins because he has his own Zeppelins. And he wants to sell these war machines and, machine guns too. He's the first automatic machine gun.
Yeah, they have that classic scene that they don't do anymore with the newspapers, where the newspapers spin onto the screen.
Yeah, war is on the brink of war.
Classic scene.
Well, see, that's the thing. They replaced it now with either somebody looking at a phone, or someone seeing a TV.
Yeah,
usually it's phone now because like it'll just cut to someone going like,
it's like, oh,
it's everywhere. Everyone knows, and they'll put the very like Jason Bourne kind of thing.
Oh my god, the newspaper scene is so much better. I love how it's executed.
And
another thing that it just reminds me of a little bit is like, you know, the map travel scenes from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's in there too.
No one does those shots
they go
anymore.
from Africa to England. Yeah, they established that the plot of the movie is that the Phantom wants to incite a war, and they need this team to find him and stop him.
Yeah,
and if they're able to stop him in time, they can prevent world war.
So then, does he introduce the team? How does he who goes first? I can't remember.
It's the Invisible Man.
Oh, he introduces the Invisible Man first.
No tricks, M.
No, wait. Doesn't he introduce Nemo?
It might be Nemo.
I think he introduces Nemo. So Nemo, then M is just like, all right, here's the other guys. Because it was just like those two talking, and then he introduces. So Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea
comes right into the room.
Jules Verne.
Yes.
So we're mixing
universes.
We're mixing canons. The Western canon is all coming together. So you got Alan Quartermain from his novels. You got M from James Bond. You got Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And then the Invisible Man more or less makes his debut. He's not really there.
He's invisible at the time. He puts on a cream so that you can see a face.
I like it. I like what they do. So whenever he's visible, they just have him actor in white makeup.
Yes.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's not the one from the novel, because somehow everyone in this universe is like, I thought that guy died.
Yes.
They read the novel too.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I'm a gentleman thief and I stole his
formula. And I had his formula. Yeah, he did die, but I had his formula, and I was a great gentleman thief.
Yeah.
Well, which is a very different intro to how they portray him in the comic. Which
yeah.
We'll leave it at that, probably.
The comic's so different. It's crazy.
It's very dark.
Yeah, it's very dark. Yeah, he's upset about being invisible. He's like, I kind of want to go back, and the British government has promised me an antidote if I do what they say.
Yes.
I don't know how they caught this guy to begin with.
Yeah, really. I don't think we want to know.
So then, who's introduced next?
Next, it will be. I'm trying to remember. I think they go. Is it the vampire lady?
I think it's Wilhelmina. Yeah, right. She walks in.
Yeah, Mina Harker.
Yeah, from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
What's she doing here?
Of course, you're not getting Dracula. Of course,
not getting Dracula, but we're getting the next best thing,
which is one of the doctors or one of the other characters from the novel who, I guess, is supposedly bitten. During some interaction with
in this
Dracula.
canon, she's a vampire lady now.
And now she's the vampire.
Le Vampire.
Van Helsing is gone. We
couldn't get him.
She alludes that he's gone.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we all went to defeat the monster Count Dracula, and they all perished, and it's just me now.
Right.
And
so now we've kind of got our core group.
Yes.
And what's their first outing? Where do they go to first?
All of them have to get into Nemo's car, and they go down to get our next member.
So Nemo's car, I think, is one of my favorite things from this movie.
Because somehow Nemo is also on the same level as the Phantom.
Yeah, Nemo's crazy scientist. He's got
crazy.
Everything.
Yeah, he has his own crazy scientist. They are already inventing things that are, again, 30 years ahead of what where they should be.
I mean, that's how he is in the book too, because at that point, his submarine was like 100 years away.
Yes.
When Jules Verne was writing about that.
Yes.
So Nemo's tech in this movie is so cool.
Yeah.
And it makes me remember a time when they would like design things for a movie, and it felt cohesive. So it's like all of Nemo's tech looks similar. It's got this like silver and white thing going on.
Yeah, the pearl white on everything.
It's sort of got this like high art looking, where it's like, it's not just functional. It looks really cool.
And it's very
and it's got
nautical
designs,
themes.
nautical.
Yeah.
So he's got this gigantic,
beautiful white automobile with 6 wheels.
Yeah, maybe it's like sort of like the Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Yeah, it's like a super Phantom.
It's a super Phantom with a gigantic long thing.
Yeah, long front, very sports car.
Yeah, and there's no automobiles yet, right? So they're just like, what is this?
Yeah,
he's like, I call it the automobile.
Yeah, the automobile. Because I think the internal combustion engine was already before that, but they're putting together cars. Cars weren't really the way we think about them. It was more like what they call it, a horseless carriage.
The horseless carriage
was the one of the early interpretations of it. And only later on would you get something cohesive like closing doors and windows and rubber wheels and like stuff like that.
And Nemo's car is already like
he already knew it was gonna happen, baby. he's got that V12.
I know, it's humongous.
It's humongous, and it's very cool.
But the driver, Nemo's driver, he gets a few lines in this movie, but his first one is just like, call me Ishmael. Yeah,
he's immediately just, so now Ishmael.
We've got supposedly the main character from Moby Dick.
Yeah.
They're just mixing.
They're mixing
any reference they can make, they'll make.
Well, it makes sense why he would shack up with,
they're nautical.
Nemo, because they're both nautical. And he's like, I need another captain. And, call me Ishmael.
Yeah, basically.
He gets like 3 lines.
He's just like, Ahab's dead now. Let's find Nemo. What's he up to?
Yeah. So they take a little trip to their next member they have to convince.
Which is Paris, right?
It might be Paris. I can't remember if it's still London or Paris. It might be Paris.
I think they go to Paris first because they're going after Mr. Hyde, right?
Yes. Well, I think it's London and then Paris.
Yeah, so they go to Paris. So Hyde is from the novel Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
But they get Dorian Gray.
Do they get him first?
Him first.
Okay, yeah.
He's first.
So Dorian Gray from the novel, it's just called Dorian Gray.
It's called Dorian Gray. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess he's alive at this point.
Oh, he's always alive.
They go to his weird. His apartment is like he lives in a big warehouse, but the part where he lives is like super nice.
It's super nice. It's like it looks run down almost on the way in, like you said. But then once you get to the library, It's very nice library. You
Yeah.
obviously can tell he spends his time reading and he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, so
That's the interpretation you get because he's very high class.
He's very high
suit.
class. You can tell he likes the finer things.
Yes.
With his long life, I guess he's acquired quite a bit of wealth or whatever.
Yeah, I imagine.
So they want to recruit him, and of course, they have some funny lines like, "Why are you recruiting this guy?" And it's just like experience.
Yeah. He's very knowledgeable, and Alan Quartermain says he went to a college when he was young.
Yeah, they're having some sort of exchange where they're just like, "Why do we want this guy?" And then Alan Quartermain says that stuff.
He says, "Yeah, I remember going to one of the lectures. I went to a lecture at this college, and Mina, the vampire lady, says, "Oh, of course, Alan." Giving a
was it Mina? I think it had to be someone else.
No, she was because she knows.
Because it's also they know Wilhelmina and Dorian Gray know each other.
Yes. Oh, it might have been the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone alludes that Alan is the one giving the lecture. However, he reveals that it is quite the opposite.
Yeah, it's like when I was a young boy, I went to the lecture
to listen to Dorian Gray.
It was the same guy.
And he's the same age and everything.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, everyone starts realizing, oh, there's something funny about him too. They don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I don't think the other characters know. Wilhelmina and I guess Alan Quartermain know.
Yeah.
So then they have another action scene here.
Yes.
Where we kind of get introduced to everyone's like fighting style.
Yes. And they
so the Phantom somehow tracked him here.
How did that happen? That's weird.
Yeah, and the Phantom tries to assassinate them all here, and they have a cool fight scene where they get to demo their powers.
Yes.
And so Skinner just sulks around in the background, just doing Invisible Man stuff.
He splashes the whiskey on his face. And
it goes invisible mode.
And Nemo starts fighting.
He has a cool fighting
arts.
style. It's very martial arts.
I love it. His line too. He's like, draw your pistol. And he goes, I walk a different path.
Yeah.
And he starts just kicking the hell out of him.
Yeah. He's got a cool martial arts style. I wonder how much historical accuracy they did, because I remember reading once about old Indian martial arts style where they utilize the curved sword by spinning a lot. And in
like a dance.
Yeah, in his moves, he's always spinning. So I wonder if they're actually alluding to that. Because I remember that was one of the things the British wrote about, where there's they got this cool thing where they got the curved swords and they spin when they're fighting.
Hell yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they really cared. And
I think that's the thing too. This director cared a lot about the universe, and really you can always tell that every chance he had to put detail in, he did.
Yeah.
And things like that, the way they all fight, you get a peek at our next member too. He incites the whole incident as well, because he takes out one of the guards and replaces him. It's the very own American Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, our young Tom Sawyer. Right. American, is he CIA or FBI? I forget what he said. I think it's FBI. CIA didn't exist yet, right?
I think he does say, what does he say?
I almost want to say
national intelligence,
something
like that.
It's I don't think that organization not existed.
Vietnam.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what you were.
He says special agent Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, pretty cool. From the obviously the novels,
which I don't think the idea of a special agent didn't appear till after the World War either.
Yeah, so
it's a very early interpretation.
Yeah, so at first Dorian Gray wasn't going to join, and then I think he sees Wilhelmina,
and he wants to
he's maybe I'll reconnect with her a little bit.
Well, I think he wants to also kind of push out Tom Sawyer as well.
I think he does have
he's like, oh, we have an open spot, we'll just invite Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm in. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
He's like, I don't like this. I don't like
this guy.
Who's this young guy?
He's this young guy. Ironically, yeah. He's like the young
Even
guy.
though he's eternally young. And this is the scene where I actually found out Wilhelmina's a vampire. Up until now, it's been ambiguous.
She
feasts on some guy at the end of this.
On some poor bastard.
Yeah. So there's a fun fight scene. Everyone gets their powers. They win, obviously.
Yeah,
Tom Sawyer joins because he has some cool winnies. He's got 2 winnies.
Oh yeah.
And Sean Connery's just like, oh, I like that.
He's like,
well, I brought 2.
You're in.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, you're in.
And so they all go to Paris to get Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay, so then they go to Paris, yeah. So Dr. Jekyll, he's been terrorizing Paris
yes.
as Mr. Hyde.
And at this point, it's him and Tom Sawyer running around the streets of Paris.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use... before that, we get introduced to Nemo's ship.
Oh, yeah, the Nautilus.
they
so like, how are we getting to Paris? He's like, oh,
I have transportation has been
take care of that.
already taken care of, and he talks about, of course, it goes. He's like, oh, it's a boat. He's like, it uses the water, if that's
it
what
travels
you mean.
by water.
It travels by water.
Yeah,
and
it's so cool.
It's a blade.
Enormous.
It's an enormous blade.
The blade of the ocean.
And
the blade of the sea.
They this is like the main set for like what the rest of the film.
Yeah, a lot of the movie does take place on Nautilus. How big is that thing? It looks so big when they introduce it.
It's got to be like aircraft carrier size.
Yeah, it's enormous
in terms of length. And they take the ship to Paris, and they intend to use it to to capture Hyde.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Alan starts to coach Tom Sawyer about how to become a better shot. Be a good adventurer.
They develop a little mentor relationship almost immediately. It's clear that he really likes this guy.
There's not a lot of time in this movie.
And we forgot that there is one scene where when Sean Connery's leaving Africa, he like looks over at a grave.
Oh, he looks at a series of graves. There's a whole graveyard.
And it has Quartermain on it, so it's someone in the family.
And he mentions
you're not exactly sure who it is.
Yeah, and he mentions to Mina that he is not looking for any romantic interests in this movie. He said, 2 wives and many lovers.
And I'm in the mood for neither. Yeah, so he's clearly left someone behind in Africa, and I think it's eventually revealed it was his son's dead, and so he's kind of developing this little relationship with Tom Sawyer. It's nice.
Yeah, and they use a trap to reel him into the ship.
Oh, Hyde, yeah. No. So let's talk about Hyde. How cool does he look?
He looks very interesting. He looks outside of this, it's like almost like a precursor to like Hellboy-ish. Yeah. He's very
practical effects.
Yeah, practical effects. He's giant Hulk hands.
He looks good. I don't know how they filmed it. Do you think it's the same actor for both Jekyll and Hyde? Because I looked on the IMDb page and there wasn't anyone else listed for Hyde. So I was like, is it the same guy?
I think it's the same face at least. And like there could be a body double for like how to manipulate the suit. Because it just says Dr. Henry Jekyll is Jason Fleming is the only actor here listed.
Because he looks so much bigger than the other actors when he's in the suit. So I wonder how they do it.
Well, they probably have stilts and stuff like that.
There needs to be a special features explaining the Hyde makeup because I really like it. I would say sometimes you can tell it's like a little bit primitive.
Yeah,
but I just love how practical effects look.
They're definitely doing a bit of the Lord of the Rings perspective shots.
Yeah, there has to be, right?
They're forcing some of the perspective there, I believe.
He's enormous. He's got to be like 9 feet tall, and he's hunched over.
Yeah, he's hunched over a lot of it, but they kidnap him, and they tell him that he will get amnesty for his crimes.
Yeah, which are many.
Which are many. And, it is very funny that Tom Sawyer picks up his giant hat.
Yeah, that's funny. It's enormous.
It's like, wait, did his hat transform, or did he go get a tailor to make him a big bowl hat?
He's like, I want you to make me a funny prank hat, Taylor. The guy's like,
it's literally this big.
All right,
it's as big as a man's torso.
Yeah,
and I thought that was amazing.
It was funny.
He's running on the rooftops with a cane.
Yeah,
and the giant bowler hat.
It's almost. I think do they name drop Jack the Ripper here?
I think they do. I think it's a Van Helsing thing.
No, I swear someone's like, he's causing as much trouble as Jack the Ripper or something.
Oh,
because he's up on the rooftops, just like being all silly.
Yeah, because I know they made the same comparison in Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing.
Yeah, another great movie. I don't care what the critics say.
So after this point, they convince him by giving him amnesty and that he will be able to return to London as he misses his home.
Yeah, he misses London.
For some reason.
He's inside the belly of the ship and he's causing a ruckus.
Yes.
And he's like shaking the entire ship. He's so strong. Even the Nautilus is gigantic. And you have these kind of funny scenes.
They always play off. It's very witty. It's very Avengers 1.
Yeah, it is.
Every character has a line to say to another one. And it's always...
they got funny banter.
They have banter. And the banter is... Mr. Jekyll's like, don't be afraid. And Tom Sawyer's like, who says I'm afraid, man? And he's like, you do. You stink of fear.
Yeah.
And you can tell they all have like immediately have like, back and forth with each one of the characters because he cuts back and forth each one to get the reaction.
Yeah.
And especially Amina has a very like, oh damn, this guy is
crazy.
For real. He's crazy.
I love when he's shaking
he
the
stands
ship.
on business.
When he's shaking the ship, though, it cuts to Dorian in his headquarters or his quarters.
He's plucking his eyebrows.
Yeah, he's plucking his eyebrows in the mirror, and the mirror's shaking. He's just like,
I can't take this.
yeah. But yeah, I do
What
love
does
the
an
Hyde
immoral
scenes.
do with his time? He plucks his eyebrows.
He doesn't go into this much, but he does say like Hyde says he can smell Sawyer's fear.
Yes.
Yeah. In the comic books, he's crazy. He has like predator senses.
Oh.
He can smell everything. He can see the Invisible Man.
Oh.
So he's like, all the senses are dialed up to like 1 million.
Okay, because you've read the comic. I have not read the comic.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
so they don't go super into that. I guess they hint at it there. It's like, I can smell your fear.
Yeah.
You stink of it.
And this is also the first scene where I think the Invisible Man gets a little cut.
Yeah.
He gets a little scratch on his hand.
Yeah,
and
Dorian saves him from getting hit by a hide or something.
He
like moves him.
by a chain, I think.
Yeah, he does pop one chain.
And he scratches him, and he picks him up, and he's like, "Oh, you scratched me." He's like, "Better me than him." They all have like this witty banter surrounding every situation. So it's very...
Dorian gets to be very witty just because he's old. So he's like...
You imagine so. But each one of them has their own kind of wit. But you can definitely see how they implanted this into the original Avengers.
Yeah.
Because they all have these scenes where they always say something immediately.
Yeah, they take the formula. And they're just like, what if everyone was like really witty all the time?
Yeah, I know that's the original director of Avengers.
Joss
Whedon's style in general. But... you can definitely see they probably looked at this movie and like, hey, that works.
Yeah.
That works really well.
Or at least it worked for the audiences.
Yeah, exactly. Because the movie did do well. It wasn't like not well received.
Yeah. So anyway, Hyde agrees, and then he decides to turn back into Jekyll.
Yes.
And you have this cool scene, really cool scene,
where they show all the different steps.
Yeah.
It's a jump cut between each one.
There's these cool cuts where he's like, and there's like a fog machine and smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how they chains and torn clothing.
Which I appreciate they chose this effect versus what they could have done, which was like a CGI.
Yeah, and this is so much better.
This is an example of a film solution,
right,
versus a CGI solution, which is what we get nowadays.
The effect is so cool.
Yeah,
because they've got not only the Hyde makeup now, which is its own thing, but they've got these transitional things.
Yeah,
and each stage, maybe he's got like 2 or 3. I'm not sure how many there are.
2 or 3, yeah.
And each stage of the makeup looks different, where it's almost like a Hulk transformation.
Yeah, and the thing is too,
it looks more like the scary, like you know, like the the Hulk ones where it's like I forget that series, but the transformations are always like crazy.
They look painful.
They look super painful.
And there's a bunch of great sound design in there too.
Yeah.
They have like different animal noises that you wouldn't normally hear on some like hero level.
Yeah.
You know, like you hear like a horse being like hurt or something. It's very interesting where you can tell from the sound design itself that this is like a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And that throughout this whole movie, the sound design is very interesting. There's another part I'll mention later on that caught my ear. Because it's every part of this movie in terms of just filmmaking is there. Where it's like the sound design, the filmmaking choices to do practical instead of CGI.
Yeah.
Because they do have CGI in this film, and I'm sure they thought about using some of that for different scenes.
Could we? This is better, and they were right. They were correct. It was better.
They were correct in using CGI more sparingly.
Yes.
And this was a great example of that. Probably one of the last good examples before modern cinema started taking it a little too far in the future.
It's right on the verge.
Because even in this movie, they do end up using it in some scenes later on, or maybe a little too much.
Yeah, it doesn't look so good. It
looks
dated.
It was a little dated.
Looks dated.
But so we have our whole team now.
Yeah.
We have our whole team.
We're all gathered together.
We have them together, and we are heading off to Italy.
Yeah.
To Venice.
Because what does the Phantom want to do?
He wants to blow up Venice.
He wants to blow up some convention?
He wants to blow up a convention in Venice, and this will spark the war, he believes.
So for me, this is like, I really find this the weakest part of the movie, because like I barely get why they're there, and I don't love the action sequence there.
No, they don't.
Not particularly.
So we get to Venice.
Yeah, we get to Venice
using the Nautilus.
Yeah, but the Phantom is already there.
He's already there, and he's already planted 1 million bombs.
Yeah, they get out of the ship, and basically immediately a bomb goes off
because they are under their impression there's only 1 bomb.
Yeah,
and they have a couple days before it should be going off, but it's already ahead of schedule, and it's happening right now.
Yeah,
and the buildings in Venice, because they're so close, are starting to fall like dominoes. So the only solution. Oh, here's the next big thing that Nemo has that nobody else has. Missiles.
Yeah, he's got straight up ballistic missiles.
Ballistic missiles, which is something we don't even have to like the 70s?
I don't know.
Oh my god. So he has like the first ballistic missile, and their idea is to blow up buildings, kind of like when you set when there's a forest fire and you
it's like a firebreaker or whatever.
Firebreaker, and they want to blow up a building to have the buildings stop being blown up in one direction to kind of get them to like lean against each other, perhaps. And the only way to do that is to use the automobile to track the missile. The missile to track it, rather. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And this is I think the first conflict where everyone's working together.
Yeah, they're all fighting as a team. It's fun.
However, Dr. Jekyll refuses to turn into Hyde in this interpretation.
Yeah, it's almost like the exact same thing as the Hulk, where he's like, I don't want
to hurt anybody. I won't let him out.
There are a few scenes where they're traveling there where he has this cool dynamic where he's like walking down the hallway.
Anything with a mirror.
Yeah, and then in the mirror, instead of seeing his reflection, he sees the opposite. Because later on, they do the same thing where it's Hyde, and he looks in the mirror and he sees Jekyll.
He sees Dr. Jekyll.
It's this cool thing where they play off of the...
which I think is a great thing since Hyde and Jekyll, they're both intelligent.
Yeah.
It's not like the Hulk where he's a mindless...
Hyde is just like a different guy.
He's just a different man.
He's very much his own thing.
He's just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Versus like, a more reserved doctor who's acts more like a drug addict, which is probably appropriate for like what this character is.
It's pretty funny. He's just like, he's always sweating. He's like, I gotta get the elixir.
I gotta get that hit.
The potion.
He just likes touching the potions too.
Oh, but prior to this, we should mention that like some things start to go missing.
Yes.
And they immediately suspect Skinner because he's just kind of a skeezy dude.
He's kind of skeezy. I mean, he's an invisible man. He steals
stuff.
He's
a scumbag.
He's a scumbag.
And he's actually nowhere to be found. So they're just like, where's Skinner?
He keeps disappearing for long periods.
Yeah.
Which is his MO. So
it's pretty easy when you just stand still.
When you just stand still and just,
you're gone.
Don't eat anything.
Yeah.
They start finding powder on the ship. They start finding...
Yeah, a few suspicious things on the way over.
I think a bottle goes missing of the elixir.
Yeah, so when this sequence starts, he's gone. So it's everyone except for Skinner doing this thing.
Yeah. They... at this point, they are going to use the automobile to go get to ahead of the explosion.
Yeah.
And of course there are...
It's so funny because Quartermain... He's like, Nemo, can you track this? Like, why would he say that? How is that even a concept?
Yeah, the idea of tracking, like, oh yes, the ballistic missile tracks things too. There's a radar system integrated into this missile. And Nemo, of course, goes, of course there is.
Yeah, so he's like, all right, we're going to drive the automobile into the building and then we'll shoot that.
Yeah, and when you see the flare,
you
shoot it.
So that was their their sequence.
And of course, the modern ideas, being directly implanted to 1899 people.
Yeah, it's like, how would he even think to ask that question?
I mean, I guess he is a hunter tracking something. It's something he's done before.
Maybe.
You could maybe stretch it really hard.
Yeah. So anyway, this is not my favorite sequence. I think it's because I've been to Venice.
Oh yeah.
And I know how small it is.
Yeah, it's not. They're driving like 100 miles.
They're driving 100 miles an hour. You're seeing thousands of buildings whiz by. I'm just like, bro.
You'd be out of there in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Also, there's not even streets that big.
No.
They're in these enormous streets. I'm like, bro.
And this is also, however, this is another instance of classic movie making versus modern movie making. There is a miniature car. I don't know if you caught it.
Yeah.
It's a small car, RC car, and it's driving through a mini Venice and like crashing around and like zooming around. They slow it down properly for the right frame rate.
Pretty cool.
And it's very cool and fun because you really notice in one scene where it kind of hops up and destroys some of the metal railings of Venice. And he's like bump bump and then keeps going and he starts blasting through like pillars and such. And
it is nice to get to see the car in action.
Oh yeah,
this car is crazy cool.
And they are ambushed again by the soldiers of the Phantom.
Right.
And they start dispersing to go kill and take care of the soldiers, even though they're driving past them. So I don't even know why they have to bother.
Yeah, you just wanted to show
each person doing their own thing again.
Yeah. So Dorian slides off, and it's presumed he's going to go
fight the dudes
Fight some
with
guys.
a sword.
Yeah. Well, we forgot to mention the Dorian's invincible to damage.
Oh, sorry.
In the first scene, he gets shot by a machine gun. He just like does not care at all. He's just like, whatever.
It's a very cool effect.
And his shirt comes off, and he's just like the Terminator.
Yeah. Well, it's a very cool interpretation. There's not blood and like guts or anything. It's
almost like dust.
It's dust. He turns to ashes, and as they like kind of like blow away, and he's just he's
very unfazed.
He's very unfazed by the whole thing.
So he's probably gonna go off and have a cool sword fight or whatever because it doesn't matter to him.
But you can't see it because it's not in the budget.
Yeah, and then Wilhelmina, she doesn't become bats.
She
summons bats, and maybe she can fly a little bit.
She floats around and like kind of kills the dudes.
Very Bride of Dracula.
And they're like, oh my god, did you see that?
Yeah, but the main sequence, see what she just did? Yeah, the main sequence is Tom Sawyer has to drive the car.
Yeah, it's his moment to shine.
Yeah, so he gets a cool scene where
and
how does he escape that? Because he drives the car into the thing and then has the missile drop on him, and then he just shows back up later. It's like, it was fine.
I don't know.
I'm okay.
This is one of those things where obviously the director was like, just keep the story moving, please.
Yeah, just keep the story moving. So I think this is my weakest. My only criticism, where like the part of my brain that's like rational.
Yeah,
it's still fun, but I'm just like,
But that because you don't think you could be. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just a little.
It's silly. Very movie.
It's a little silly.
It's very movie because the whole building is just destroyed.
And then Quartermain somehow corners the Phantom. He just like knows where he is. He's like,
he sees him when he jumps out of the car. He's like, this is my stop, boy.
Yeah.
And he jumps out of the car.
Yeah.
Even though they're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's no problem. No problem.
Not a problem.
So then Quartermain has this solo showdown with the Phantom.
Yes.
And the Phantom knows a suspicious amount about him. And he's taunting him with stuff from his family. And this is where we find the big reveal where it's like he's got a dead son, dead family.
Yeah, he took his son on an adventure and he died.
Right.
And he's very haunted by this.
Yeah, but then Quartermain gets the better of him and
knocks the mask off.
Knocks the mask off. And then the Phantom, does he just like voluntarily reveal? How does it happen?
Well, he knocks the mask off and he goes, M?
Yeah, is that what he does?
And he goes, oh, and he takes off the rest of the makeup that he has on.
So he had a bunch of goofy makeup on to make him look like scarred or whatever.
Yeah.
Turns out it's M, the guy who made this whole League of Extraordinary
Gentlemen. And he's extremely confused. And he gets into the scuffle again and he gets away.
Yeah, then he runs off.
And he runs off and I think he has a submarine or something. And
yeah, what does he do? I don't know. He gets away somehow.
He gets away somehow, but he cuts back to the ship and everyone's kind of just reorganizing after
everyone's like in front of the Nautilus and then Quartermain just comes like, M is the Phantom.
The Phantom is M.
Yeah.
The Phantom is M.
Everyone's just like, oh yeah.
Oh damn, what? And everyone's confused and like
it's so funny.
They're like, oh, so the Invisible Man has been a spy for him.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that was a spy.
That was a spy.
And dirty Skinner, he was scumbag.
And then we get the second reveal after that.
Yeah.
Immediately after.
The double twist.
The double twist. Dorian Gray goes and shoots Ishmael.
Yeah.
For
no reason.
No reason in particular other than I guess he was blocking a door.
It's really no reason.
He's mopping. He's like
hates that guy.
He's like he hates that guy. He messed his food up one night. He just like was mopping or something and he just goes he's like, oh, that darn Skinner, he really screwed us over. Because I think there was bombs placed at some point.
Yeah.
On the Nautilus that kind of took them out of commission to follow.
Oh, no, they don't know about that yet.
I think. Oh, it was after.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, he's just like, that dang Skinner or whatever. And it's like, it was me. Just.
Yeah, exactly. And he steals the mini sub.
Yeah, he takes the mini sub, which is cool.
Which is
another cool thing.
Bladed, futuristic.
Yeah, all the designs in this movie are just so cool. Because he's got like a sub.
It's integrated artfully into the side.
Yeah, because it like detaches from the Nautilus. It's like this like half sphere, and then like on the other side it's a blade, and it just like whoosh, cuts through the water. And he's just like, I got this cool stuff. So he stole something from each of them. He's got like the elixir. He's got the plans to the Nautilus.
He's got the vampire blood.
And
the elixir. Yeah, elixir.
And it turns out he got a skin sample from Skinner.
Yes,
when he
invisible skin.
Yeah. So then he runs away, and then they gather aboard the Nautilus, and they're chasing after him. And he's like, "Can you track the thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course."
He's like, "I can catch it."
And then my other favorite tech from the movie.
Oh yeah.
Instead of GPS, like on a computer screen, they have this super cool.
Yeah, Hyde can hear this.
No. The thing that they tracked them on.
Oh, that part. Sorry.
They've got this silver sphere.
Yes.
That I think represents the entire world.
Yes.
And it's mounted in the wall and it rotates.
It's rotating.
And then they've got these like 2 pins that go on these tracks. And it's like one pin goes to like their submarine, presumably, and one is for the thing they're tracking. So it's like even the technology for this movie is thought out. Where this like, okay, so he has GPS, which is a little unbelievable.
Like, how would you show that?
Yeah, how would these people with no screens have GPS?
Yeah, you have a moving map, which is a globe.
And this thing was really built. Like you can tell it's really there. It's not CGI.
And he points to, he's like, we will be upon them soon.
Yeah, such a cool set.
And it's like, it's a great interpretation because he still looks at like a regular map and he's still trying to like determine where they're going.
Yeah, but you get this rotating sphere in the wall.
But you get like a...
Movies suck now. Why can't they make something cool?
But they hear this ringing noise in the ship.
No. They find the record.
That's what I'm saying. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And then he.
They find the record, and then Nemo puts it on with a cool gramophone, another cool thing. Classic. And then it turns out it's M.
Voice recorded.
Yeah, revealing his secret plan.
It was me all along.
And he's like, me. Is this where he reveals he's Moriarty?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Moriarty.
It's me, Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes.
From Sherlock Holmes. So yeah, we get the ultimate bad guy in almost all of literature.
Yeah.
Moriarty.
Which
is pretty fitting, honestly.
It's a good villain.
So him, and we get the one of the most zesty line readings in the entire movie, where he reveals that it was not Skinner, the Invisible Man, screwing them over, but Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
And he set his woof upon them.
Yeah.
And he literally says, growl.
It's so painful because it zooms in on him. He's looking at the camera, just like, growl. I was like, no, Dorian!
And you could tell, like,
it's a zest fest. It's zest overlord.
You could just tell in his head, like, whether it's the actor or like if you were interpreting Dorian Gray as a real person, he's like, God, I'm sexy as hell.
Yeah, he's really hamming it up.
I love the performance.
I love the performance.
Wow. And however, they don't realize is that the gramophone is submitting a sound to the rest of the ship.
Yeah, it's like activating like a sonic trigger to blow up the bombs.
And it blows up the bombs of the ship, so they
because Moriarty's just like, why would I tell you this? Because I'm the smartest man ever.
Yeah.
Because if you're hearing this, it's already over.
And then, of course, Nemo tries to knock over the gramophone, but it's too late.
The bombs explode, and then all this is sinking.
Hyde was also being like, turn it off. Turn it off, Henry.
Jekyll looks in the mirror, and he sees Hyde, and he's just like,
nah.
Actually, that's another allusion to the fact that he can superhero.
Yeah, he can superhero. But even in the other form, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like, cool. Wait, even if he's not drinking the elixir, he can still...
He's just fun.
He's fun. He's cool. He's a good character to have around.
Yeah, I like him.
And so in this moment, the ship is going down, and each character has to kind of pull together to kind of save the day. Especially Hyde. So
Hyde hard carries the scene.
Yeah, Hyde carries the scene.
They're gonna die.
This is his scene where he kind of redeems himself.
Yeah.
And finally saves some people and realizes that Hyde can do good.
Yeah, this is essentially like the Hulk Banner integration scene.
And
where the Nautilus is sinking alarmingly fast because they cannot vent the water from this section. So Nemo's just gonna seal it off and kill all the guys in there.
Yeah.
And presumably they all die anyway because the whole ship's going down.
Yeah, it can't be stopped.
And then I think Hyde is just like, we can do this. He's like looking in the mirror.
He's like, yeah, let me out, Henry.
Yeah, so he drinks the elixir, jumps in there, and he has this cool scene where he goes
does the
underwater.
same kind of transformation underwater.
You're right, another transformation scene underwater. So it's
he's swimming.
Even more tricky to film.
I know, gosh. It must have been a nightmare, honestly.
Yeah, imagine being in water in prosthetics.
And we probably have scuba divers coming up to him.
Dude, that's crazy.
You can tell they most likely filmed it in a closed water set. Because it's obviously, he's coming down and the background is different. It's like a matte background or a painting or something. Or like
but it's still.
And
they tried hard.
Yeah, the fact that they went through with it. Yeah.
I know.
And then just, straight cut.
They could have had him just like transform outside or not in the water.
Yeah.
But it's like they went the whole way.
And he goes down, he pulls the levers and lets all the water out.
Yeah, he has a cool scene.
And he hangs on to the pipe and he's like, you did it. You did it. They're happy with each other that they work together.
He's looking in the mirror and I think
that's when you first see Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah, Dr. Jekyll as the reflection. He's like, proper good work, Henry, or whatever.
Proper good work.
What's his name? Is he Henry or Edward?
Edward. I think he's Edward and Henry is Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, Dr. Henry Jekyll
and Edward Hyde. He's like, proper good work, Edward. So they have this cool moment where they like integrate. They're like, all right.
And they're like, he's smiling at each other.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just like,
it's really cheesy. It's great. It's like, and because he has giant mutton chops too.
Yeah, he looks hilarious.
He looks hilarious.
I love his design.
So at that moment, they're kind of just nursing their wounds and getting ready to find
so
where M went.
They're like, we have an advantage because Moriarty thinks we're dead.
Yeah.
And then conveniently, Skinner just like sends him a message.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm stowed aboard. Come get me where I'm here.
Yeah.
They're like, sick. Skinner's our inside guy now.
Yeah, really. He's like, I stowed upon the little sub somehow.
How did he do that?
He was just in the corner, just being quiet.
No, maybe he was on. Maybe he found the Phantom and he went with the Phantom.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Either one of the ways.
Yeah.
He stowed away with either Phantom or Dorian.
Yeah, somehow.
But he
using his
found
scumbag
their
powers.
base and he scoped it out for them.
And they're somewhere in Mongolia, which is a weird place.
Yeah.
Because in my memory, I was like,
is it
they're
Siberia?
in the Arctic.
Siberia, Mongolia?
They say Mongolia. Mongolia is geographically similar, I guess.
It's below Siberia.
Yeah. I just remember it being the Arctic, but it turns out Moriarty has this. So he's using he revealed his plan. He's using all of the different parts of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen to like make super soldiers. That's always what it is. It's always super soldiers. He's like, I'm going to make invisible assassins. I'm going to make a bunch of Dr. Hyde or Mr. Hydes.
Yeah, soldiers.
I'm going to have the technology of Nemo.
And I'm going to have...
They're going to be vampires.
Because he can transfer vampire.
And he didn't steal anything from Quartermain. I don't know why he was there.
Well, he was there to hunt Jackal.
Hyde. Okay, that was his whole purpose.
That's his whole purpose. He needed the ultimate hunter. Tom Sawyer is just an extra guy. He was just along for the ride.
Maybe not part of the plan.
He was not part of the plan at all, which is probably why Dorian tried to get him to be cut out.
Oh, see? They were thinking about the movie. There's little things.
Little nods throughout the whole thing. So, yeah, the only reason they wanted Quartermain was to hunt Jackal. There wasn't anything to steal from him. But, so the plan is to sell machines and the ultimate weapons of soldiers to the highest bidder.
Yeah, it's really the two package.
Yeah, really. I mean, honestly.
You got the machines and the soldiers.
I was going to say, that's like the ultimate army.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so they bust through the ice and they come out the other side.
Yeah.
And they are waiting for Skinner. And I think Alan starts realizing he's at the end of his adventures.
Yeah, he has an interesting vision where he sees like a tiger.
A white tiger in the snow.
And then everyone kind of comes out and interrupts his vision. And then I think even Nemo's just like, old tiger's last hunt or something like that.
He's like, old tiger reaching his end, huh?
Yeah, he's just like, you're going to die soon, bro.
And he's like, yeah, you're kind of old.
It's funny how direct they are.
I know, yeah.
Nemo's just like, yeah, you're getting old, man.
There's no time for interpretation. Because it's like you said, there's so many characters and everyone has to have a line.
And it's a surprisingly compact movie. It's only like an hour 40, I think.
It is
10 minutes of credits.
150.
Yeah, 150, 10 minutes of credits. So it's really only 140 of runtime.
Yeah.
And so they're just rushing through.
And so Skinner comes and finds them, and he tells them the plan, the insides of the entire factory.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, Skinner, you were a good guy after all.
And he's like,
you're so cool.
I told you, man.
And he grabs Mina's ass.
Yeah.
And right after Sean Connery congratulates him, he's like, you're a hero.
And he's like, yeah, well, you know.
He's like, you're kind of a scumbag.
And he's like, I am out here naked in freezing temperatures.
Yeah, it's funny how he just canonically has to be naked.
Yeah.
He's just running around in the nude in Arctic temperatures.
As everywhere, yeah.
He's a tough guy. He's
my toes would have came off for sure. But I think one of the other cool scenes in the movie is after that they do the pull up to the factory, and there's the guards outside just chilling, and you get the bats coming in, you get Hyde jumping down.
Yeah, it's like a cool action scene for all of them.
It's almost their scene like from the Avengers where they all do the spin shot.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're like, we're pulling up.
Yeah.
And they go inside and they know that this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, this is like the demo of all those ideas where it's like they get their cool intro.
They get their cool like shot of them all together, and they do the hand over hand.
Oh, they do. Yeah, you're right.
And
where it's like, we are the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And they're like,
Dorian Gray, uninvited, not our best friend anymore.
And they do Alan puts his hand on the very top and goes, let's do it. A very quiet, gentlemanly, not like over the top or anything. It's very, very.
It's very nice.
Scene.
It's very nice.
And they all know their orders, and they all spread out to go.
Yeah, this is my favorite action scene. I love this part. Oh, yeah. I think it's so fun.
You get to really see them all in action together.
It's basically like a big iron foundry, sort of.
Yeah.
We just got a lot of metal.
It's huge.
It's humongous.
And it's like they have all the scientists.
Yeah, and they all split up and do their own thing, and it's fun.
Yeah, they have.
So for some reason, Wilhelmina is like, I'm gonna kill Dorian.
Well, she's the only one that they agreed. I think she's the only one that's immortal enough to like take him
fight
on.
Doran. Yeah, and also we forgot to mention there's like a little subplot where they used to be lovers.
Yeah, at some point they were lovers, and they have a back and forth.
They've got chemistry.
They have chemistry.
So she's like, I'm gonna put him down, even though in the plot of the movie, Moriarty has him by the balls because he's like, I've got your portrait. I can
kill you. Yeah.
So it's like Doreen had to do it. But then she's just like, nah, he's got to die.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic.
He just has to.
Because he's like, I think he got a bunch of people killed,
it's true, but he was forced to.
And betrayed her trust, to take her blood.
Yeah, and then he has that line. He's like, is this the woman's scorn?
Oh, yeah, a woman's wrath. I am so petrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very patriarchal. He has no care for the women's power.
He's seen it all. He's a little tired of everything.
Probably.
He's too old.
But he definitely that fight is definitely a lot of fun, and they definitely have
is that what happens first? I'm trying to remember what happens first.
It all happens kind of at the same time.
Yeah, so it's just these cool back-to-back shots of everyone doing their thing.
So they have of course their witty back and forth as immortals, and
they have a lot of fun with that sequence because they're just beating each other up.
They're just stabbing and slashing, and he gets stabbed in the dick.
Yeah, he does.
And his scene is, I've been very upset if that was permanent.
I forgot. She just stabs him in the dick.
But then he stabs her like through the chest, and he goes, I never thought I'd get to, what was this terminology?
Oh, no, he says something funny like nail you.
I get to think I'd nail you one more time. I didn't think it'd be literally.
Yeah. They decided to bust out all the lines.
They're just busting out all like the sexual tension lines one after another with this fight.
So he like stakes her and she like falls in the bed.
Yeah, the bedroom. Does it give you ideas?
Oh, yeah. They're fighting in the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And that's when she stabs him in the dick. She's like, ideas.
Yeah.
Boom.
So he stakes her and then he thinks she's dead.
Because
Classic
I think
mistake.
she probably revealed to him her only real weakness is to be staked in the heart, like a true vampire.
Yeah.
And
so he does it. I think
he tries it. He tries to kill her.
Yeah.
And he misses.
But he thinks he hit her.
He thinks he hit her.
So then she managed to get the painting from him. And she stabs him to the wall, pinning him there. And the only way to kill him is to have him see the painting, which then reverses the position.
Reverses the curse.
And so this is the part you didn't like with the CGI, right?
Yes. They tried to do an Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark scene where he does the face melting.
Yeah.
That one,
he chose poorly.
He chose poorly. or also, number 3 with the, I think it's close to probably number 3.
Yeah, the guy
where
ages.
he just ages when he drinks from the wrong cup. And they try to do that, but they do it, unfortunately, with CGI. So he looks like Play-Doh the entire time, and the sound design is a little more poor in this scene as well.
Yeah.
I think they kind of knew, they're like, okay, we're not really playing with the full deck here, unfortunately. And they kind of just, they cut away from it at one point, and they come back to him just as like a skeleton.
Yeah, what if they ran out of budget? They're just like, we can't do a practical effects, we gotta do CG.
Which is unfortunate, because I think that was part of the studio back and forth I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
The studio had problems with him using too much budget on certain scenes. Yeah. This could have been one of those scenes, and they could have just said, just do it with CGI and get it out the door.
Sad.
It's still sad, because
it is... I mean, it's not that bad, but it's like it could have been cooler.
But it could have been cooler, and
it's the climactic end. It's almost a little creepy, where he's like staring at the painting, and it's just
he's like no, he can't break his eye contact from it. He's doing he's trying to look away, but he can't do it.
Yeah. And then the painting becomes him as a young man.
He becomes a very young man, and he becomes dust.
It's cool. And that's the end of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, and she is a little shocked to herself. She's like, "Oh wow, I actually killed him." She's like, "Oh dang,
that was crazy.
That was crazy." Sucks to suck.
Yeah. And meanwhile, everyone else is having their own like little specific fights.
Nemo and
Hyde end up fighting
the soldiers, and
it was like the Phantom's right-hand man.
The Phantom's right-hand man, the buzz-haired guy.
Yeah, so they're having a fight, and he's in Hyde mode. And then they've already got the elixir in production. They have it right there.
Yeah, and he sees a gallon of it.
Yeah,
on the table.
The Phantom's right-hand man he goes for it. He just grabs it because he knows he's not going to be able to fight without being,
completely overwhelmed.
And then
I think he tries to punch Hyde. I think he tries.
Does he really?
He tries to punch him. And he tries to because he's just like I don't know. I think he had the first Monster energy drink or something, because that dude was high wired the entire time as well.
Yeah,
he was just
pretty funny.
He was like that. kid in high school or whatever. Just like, oh,
his name's Kyle for sure.
He's
this guy. I'm gonna punch a hole in this drywall. You can't ground me, Dad. I've been drinking Monster White all damn day.
That's what it was. Just like we should replace the bottle with an overlay of Monster White, and because he just goes for it.
Yeah,
he puts it all over his body
he's
too.
Going crazy, and then I just like not the whole thing.
And he starts. This is the other really fun sound design.
Yeah,
I noticed when rewatching it was so as soon as he drinks it all, he starts turning red. And obviously, like,
he turns so red.
He turns so red immediately, and he starts steaming from the neck. And it plays a classic like train whistle, like a pot boiling kind of sound, which I thought was an excellent choice for sound design because it's not something modernistic and like, you know, nowadays we might choose for like a transformation scene. It's very classical, like cartoony, like early, like Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah, it's like time appropriate.
It's very time appropriate to a transformation, kind of overpowering a person. And I thought that was a excellent, like you said, like so many things in this movie are choiced like very accurately to this world.
Yeah.
And I thought that it's like one of those things, like they always say in Red Letter Media, you may not notice it, but your brain did.
Your brain did.
And you definitely added to the scene extremely well because it has the classic like steam and the red, you know, it's very fun, and you can definitely tell immediately like this is like, oh, this is bad news.
Yeah.
You know.
So then I think this is a part of the CG. This is the CG that bothers me the most because sadly the guy that's fighting Hyde isn't practical, but he's CG. So it's like practical Hyde fighting CG. Yeah.
There's a few shots where he is CG, and you can tell when they're punching each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's most of the scenes are him running from him or trying to fight him off in practical effects, which looks very odd.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they're in the same room.
It's still fun. Because it's fun to have like the Hyde versus Hyde. It's really actually just Hulk versus Red Hulk.
Yes.
Because he is completely red.
He's very red, and he's very uneven. He has like one small arm and one big arm. Yeah, he's like
the guys from Left 4 Dead.
And he's obviously more monster. So I think I don't know if most people would know this rule of thumb. So most monster design, if you ever designed a monster or had done anything with that kind of thing, most monsters, you'll have an asymmetry about them. They'll have more, to make it more monstrous, you'll have them either one side be, you know, more decrepit than the other, or one side of their body up or down, same kind of thing. That's the difference between Hyde and him. Hyde is very even. He's he's just like a kind of unproportional human. His arms are very big.
He's just a bit silly looking.
He's a bit silly looking, but he's in proportion. He's very humanistic. However, this one is very monster-ified. He's very uneven. He looks scary. And he's very scary, and he obviously uses his weight in a very interesting way.
He's got a messed up face too.
Oh yeah, he's very teeth. He shows his teeth a lot, and how angry he is. And
so I think when that fight's happening, it's like Sawyer and
Alan
are tracking down the Phantom.
Yeah.
And then they have their interaction with him.
Yes, they catch him shaving.
Yeah, Quartermain gets the better of him, but then I think he does something tricky.
A invisible man.
Oh yeah, there's another invisible man
who takes up Sawyer.
Yeah.
And has him by a knife. He has a little fight scene with him in the hallway.
Yeah, there's
because he thinks it's Skinner.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Skinner, what are you doing here? But
he's like, who says I'm Skinner?
Yeah, they've got another invisible man already.
What was interesting was, also another callback is the voice of that invisible man, the second invisible man, is the voice apparently of the original man that went to get Alan in Africa. Oh. So even he was an inside agent.
Wow,
from the very
really?
beginning. So,
I didn't pick that up.
Yeah, so apparently he has the same voice, and that is the same actor.
So that guy was a scumbag too.
So he wasn't working for the government at all.
Who could have foreseen?
It was all just inside on Moriarty.
Who could have foreseen?
And I thought that was an interesting comeback where he's like, oh, because he's a spy too.
Yeah,
he's a spy going to try to find Alan, and he's like, oh, if I'm going to be a good spy, I'll be invisible.
That does make sense. That's his skill set.
So that's another like interesting, the whole movie is very good at tying everything together in a nice knot at the end of the movie. I mean, again, You may not have noticed it, but it was there, and it was, the thought was put into it.
It's a good movie. I don't know what critics were smoking. They're crazy.
I think most people focused on that CGI. I think that really ruined it, unfortunately, for a lot of people.
Yeah, because
maybe nowadays with the way AI works and everything, you could do a phantom cut of this and kind of fix that a little bit.
Because
that'd be amazing. I would love that. Not as the original interpretation, but I would love it just to see it.
I was thinking it wasn't that bad.
Get to work.
But then thinking about the movies that came out around this time, because I think Pirates of the Caribbean came out not too much later.
And
what year was that? And that would smoke this stuff.
Because their CGI for all the ghost pirates was amazing.
Let me see. It was 2003. That was the same
year. Oh, that's why. Oh no.
Brutal. Okay. Now we know.
I was gonna say, what month? Did they come? I was like, yeah. Were they in theaters around the same time? Because I would be hard pressed to say if I watched Pirates of the Caribbean and then this like within the same couple weekends.
I know.
I'd be like, man, that sucked.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah, because that happens a lot of times where if we when our podcast when we get to it, when we talk about certain decades and years
movies will overshadow other movies.
They will just overshadow the hell out of other movies, and that's why some movies like this one have a cult following, because it is a good movie.
Yeah.
Especially when you take it into its own little bubble, you're like, oh wow, this is a great movie. If I didn't know that Pirates of the Caribbean was watched before or after it in the same year, it kind of
in isolation it's different than in the context.
Yes, it fits in that same category to me as, say, like Hellboy, Original Blade, all those kind of like films where it's like it's a very lived-in world.
Yeah, it's like pre-CGI being overused.
Exactly.
So there was still a lot of practicality,
good
storytelling, some
sets, and a good well-ended. And unfortunately, yes, the end seems rushed in some manners.
It is a little rushed. You're right, but it does wrap up nicely. So, Moriarty ends up getting the slip from Quartermain. He does something. I can't remember exactly what.
That was the fun thing. The entire time, I think Moriarty has he's very Houdini-ish.
Yeah.
He's very magic trick.
Yeah, he's always getting out in some.
He has a little contraption. I think he has some kind of parachute hidden under his fur jacket.
Oh yeah.
And he paraglides down onto
he jumps
the
out
ice.
of his tower and then flies away, and he's running.
He has a Batman-esque
it's pretty
slide down. He has the whole case of the League with
That's how he survived the fall from the waterfall, because that's where he's supposed to die in the Sherlock Holmes novels.
Yes. Yeah.
He just flew away. It's like
psych. I hooked up with Houdini and I got his stuff done. So he gets away that way, and at this point they defeat the other Invisible Man, who unfortunately stabs Alan and breaks his glasses.
Yeah.
So Tom has to step up and take his first real long shot.
Yeah, and then you see it's a pretty extended scene where he's running away.
Yeah.
And then Quartermain's just like, take your time.
And you can tell the life is kind of just being breathed out of him.
Yeah.
He's definitely dying.
But Sawyer gets shot, nails him at like 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah, and unfortunately turns around and Alan has passed away.
Yeah, he's passed away.
And he takes a moment to kind of console himself about losing his mentor.
But then they were all successful, and they stop the bad stuff from happening.
Yeah, they blow up the factory as well.
And then the final shot of the movies are all back in Africa, and they're at the funeral for Quartermain, and they're kind of like, what's next? Or
yeah, they don't know what to do next because they don't have an M leadership. They don't have Alan.
It turns out they were never government sponsored to begin with.
Yeah, really.
They were acting completely rogue.
Yeah, so I think at this point they kind of lean on Nemo.
Just like, well, I'm gonna go around, and then Tom Sawyer's like, yeah, I'll go.
I mean,
that
why
sounds
not?
fun.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
Do some good, do some bad. A little
So maybe they left it open where it's like something could happen.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but then the final scene of the movie is the witch doctor that originally blessed Quartermain.
Yes.
Is
Africa would never allow me to die, as he said.
All right. And he's doing some stuff. You think that's like a...
He starts a little fire on top of his grave.
Yeah, they would cancel this movie for that now. They'd be like, that was not culturally accurate.
Oh.
This movie's canceled.
I mean, how do you know which tribe he was from? I don't know.
Yeah, so the witch doctor starts doing some stuff, and the movie ends with a very dramatic scene. The grave is literally rumbling.
Lightning hits the grave.
Yeah, and it's like, was he gonna come back to life?
And
the answer is yes, he's immortal.
Yes, he's immortal, to be honest.
But not in this movie.
Not in this movie. In the book. He is immortal.
And that was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, a nice classic look onto a movie we highly recommend.
I really love this movie.
And a movie that kind of, like we said, sparked the modern interpretations. They definitely has taken so many things from this movie.
It does feel that way now. Especially having seen all the Marvel stuff, it's like, wow, they must have taken some notes from this movie. They really must have.
If I was going to have my own class for film and cinematography, I would definitely reference this movie as a turning point and a jumping off point for modern superhero movies.
Yeah.
Because it definitely uses a lot of it. However, they, in my opinion, especially with the last, Avengers films and whatnot, they're getting over their head with how many characters, and you can't really have this many characters interacting in a
it feels like the ensemble,
entangled way.
The ensemble's like 6 or 7 max, right?
Yeah. So we have Alan, Mina, Dorian Gray, Tom Sawyer, Dr. Jekyll, you could say Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. Skinner.
Captain Nemo, Skinner.
Yeah.
But Skinner isn't in it a lot. He has few lines in between. He's usually invisible and gone.
That's true.
Ishmael has 3 lines overall.
Yeah.
So we have our 7, 8 max. We'll say 7 because 2 of them are one person. But we'll say I think 7-ish is because we have original Avengers movie is Iron Man.
Is it 7?
The Hulk.
Yeah.
Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, and you could even say Samuel L. Jackson. We have 7.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's just like you kind of limit yourself. You have to be under 10.
Yeah, compare that to the cast list we just saw drop for the
if
new Avengers.
You're gonna cut to that fucking long shot.
There's like 40 names.
There's like 40 names. Are you excited? Did you watch all the movies and TV shows? You should not. You shouldn't pay Disney anything.
Because they killed someone with peanut allergies. Never forget.
Never forget. And also, they're just bad at it now.
So let's talk about the interesting legacy that this had having to do with Sean Connery.
Yes, unfortunately, like you said in the beginning, this was Sean Connery's last live action film.
It's his last live action film.
And
the camera just did something.
So
quickly before the camera catches on fire, let's talk about Sean Connery's legacy with this film.
So ironically, yes, this is his last live action film.
Yeah.
And it is really interesting that he plays the character Alan Quartermain, which is a precursor to Indiana Jones, who also had Sean Connery play his father. So it's like
there's all these cycles.
I can't tell.
He was James Bond and he's running into M.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
And I think there was a Bond character, his great-grandfather was in the original.
Yeah, there is a Bond character in the graphic novel.
He wasn't in the general domain yet.
Yeah.
Public domain. But
this is just such the perfect character for Connery to play at this point. Because it's the Quartermain character he's like sundowning his career. He's kind of passing the torch on.
And that's like what's happening in the movie.
This ended up being Sean Connery's last film.
Yeah.
And it sort of feels like instead of like maybe the Quartermain legacy, it's like Sean Connery's leaving his own Bond legacy or whatever.
To the next Tom Sawyer kind of character.
It's like there's tons of movies Sean Connery's been in. I feel like maybe he'll be most remembered for the Bonds.
The Bonds or
Indiana Jones.
I always remembered Indiana Jones, but he's older in those movies.
Or Zardoz!
Get your underwear.
Or he'll be remembered for
I'm doing that next Halloween.
Have you seen the clip where he's doing an interview with that woman? And she's like,
"Oh, did you slap your wife?"
Yeah, no, it's not.
Is that what they're talking about?
It's not even just his wife. But she's like, "I'm sure you probably regret these comments you made in the past."
He's like, "Not at all."
Wrong. He just goes hard.
Yeah. He's like, "Open palm every time."
He's like, "You let it how it should," and then he hit it with an open hand, and she's just like,
"You're like Jesus Christ."
He's so old. He's from a different time.
He's definitely from a different time.
And he was one of like the fathers of bodybuilding. I mean, not really, but he was into the sport early.
Oh, as a full integration into acting too.
I don't know about acting, but he competed in.
He actually competed.
He competed. Look at the photos of him.
I did not know that. I thought
he was pretty jacked for pre-steroids era.
Yeah, a lot of those dudes are pretty interesting.
Yeah. So he was such a cool, just a big personality. He was a knight. He was in all these insane movies.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell, especially in because you see his shoulders and everything. You're like, oh wow, yeah, there are a few actors that you can definitely tell were taking up that kind of sport.
He was a strong guy. He's a strong guy.
And
man's man.
And it's very interesting. Yeah,
Certainly not a woman's man.
No, no, not at all.
He'll hit you with an open hand for that. But yeah, so this movie, that probably is going to come over on the pause for a second.
Do another cut.
I honestly don't know if the
Well, we'll just sum up that
the mics don't pick it up. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting that this movie becomes a capstone for the Quartermain character and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
So
it's in how parallel it is.
Yeah,
between two.
It is a strange parallel.
It also is just interesting how they got this movie at all from this book. If you are daring enough to find this book and read it, it is definitely very different from this film. Don't think you're gonna give one for one recreation.
No, it is completely different.
It's completely different and is very much a lot darker and grittier than this movie, because this movie is PG-13 for the wide audience, and this is definitely a hard like X almost. Like it's definitely has a lot of bad themes in it and a lot of references to
everyone is a scumbag,
like SA and horrible things. So if you really want to read something from Alan Moore, read The Watchmen, and don't watch the Watchmen movie. This is kind of funny enough. You want to watch the movie of this and you want to read the book of The Watchmen.
You know what's interesting is people are actually trying to revive that, saying it's a good movie.
The Watchmen?
Yeah, I've seen that opinion recently. Like, was Watchmen actually that bad? I'm just like, it was that bad.
It's not.
Yeah, when it comes to Alan Moore,
quote me, some guy on the internet. It's bad.
Yeah. When it comes to Alan Moore, there is only one Alan Moore property that I hold with
any regard,
with utter reverence, and that's Watchmen.
That's a Watchmen.
When it comes to this, I mean, of course, I read it. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I have not read the follow-up sequels, but
it goes in a very odd direction, as you were telling me. It tries to incorporate John Carter.
It's much later. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, John Carter, Mars stuff.
And you're like, what?
it's really all over the place.
As well as in 1899, 1900. Like it's.
I think this was even said earlier, like 1889.
Oh wow! So yeah, that makes even less sense. I mean, a story can be about anything.
Oh no, it is London 1898.
1898.
Yeah.
Okay, so but still, it gets a little out there in terms of space travel and such.
It is. It's just a very different
interpretation.
A very different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. The graphic novels are comic books as they originally were, as opposed to the movie, which is it's more or less family friendly. I don't know.
The movie is PG-13. There's no blood. Anywhere in the movie. Oh no, there is blood, little blood. There's a little splotch of blood on
the vampires.
The vampire, a little hand, she gets cut.
Yeah, so in the end, I love this movie. It's a very interesting cyclical send-off for Sean Connery.
Yes.
I barely saw any of these actors ever again in anything.
No, I couldn't name any of them in any other piece. I had to look up on the casting.
It's just Sean Connery, but still, I enjoyed everything in this movie. I wish they made movies like this still. It is a little rough to hear it came out the same year as Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because that was probably better.
And I guess we'll find out how its legacy series, The Avengers, turns out in like 2 years, because they just started filming it.
Yeah, it's going to be forever.
God.
Minimum of 2 years.
Well, hopefully, we'll see if the show still goes in 2 years.
Yeah, we'll see you on that episode.
Episode 99.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
No. We'll definitely see you next time, though. We recommend, like you said, recommend the movie, not the book. Recommend Watchmen's book, but not the movie. If you have any comments, if you know anything about this book series, and if you have any of the parts of this movie that you hold dear, please leave them in the comments. We'd love to talk and hear about those pieces.
Yeah, let us know. Give us that YouTube engagement.
Yeah, how many times have you seen this movie? Because I feel like I've seen this movie 20 times.
I would say 10 plus for me.
Yeah, definitely a good watch, a good rewatch as well. So we'll see you all next time. Take it easy, y'all.
All right, Void Hour out.